DB Optimizer helps you to go ahead and perform SQL profiling as well as query tuning for your database systems. And we are today going to be learning about how to go ahead and perform a profiling session on your database as well as SQL tuning as well. So now, again, I would like to reconfirm. You guys are able to, a quick show of hands, you're able to see the DB Optimizer product along with the, okay, all right. And again, I sincerely apologize. So here, when we take a look at the environment, here we have the ability to look at the Data Source Explorer. And the Data Source Explorer it gives you the ability to look at your projects as well as going ahead and look at all the data sources that you have within your DB Optimizer environment. So for example, if you have registered an Oracle database as well as a SQL Server database, this is where you will be taking a look at it. Next, here we have the SQL Project Explorer that enables you to go ahead and leverage the SQL projects, where you can go ahead and create individual projects and register those connections here as well. On the right-hand side is your SQL, your profiling session, where you're connected to your actual server. And at the bottom is your overview tab. Then you have your SQL tab that lists all the SQL that's currently running. Then you have the events tab that helps you to get to all the CPU and asynchronous IO. Then I go to the sessions, and here I go to the procedures. So I think here, if you look at from on the grand scheme of things, DB Optimizer enables you to successfully profile a actively running database, as well as gives you the option to tune it as well as you're profiling it. So for example, if I were to go ahead and kickstart a profiling session here, so I'll profile a data source. So right now, as you can see, we're profiling this. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and execute some queries, okay? So I'll go ahead and execute a couple of queries. And let's say if I'm interested in just the products table, right? Go ahead and execute the products table a couple of times. And here you can see it's going ahead and in this session, at least, it's going to go ahead and get you the SQL that it's running. The other area in where you have this as well is I can go ahead and launch this as well here. This is a much more complex SQL. And as I'm running this slowly it'll go ahead and start capturing based on the application that you're running, as you can see here. So let me go and show you an example here. So for example, here I have been running that long complex SQL statement, and it's giving me that I'm having some performance issues here. So it's going to tell me that, hey, look, it's taking a lot of CPU, plus it's causing a lot of network bandwidth. So I can actually go ahead and first of all look at the explain plan. And here, if you look, I have the explain plan that leverages this. And from here, what I can do now is, now that I've identified this, I can take a look at this time where the highest amount of traffic has happened. So I can right click on the query and I can say tune. Now what this is doing is it helps you to tune the, it gives you various SQL hints, okay? So with this SQL hints, it goes ahead and gives you whichever is the most optimum, and you can sort it based on the value or the result set. So right now I'm interested in only the result set. So here I can actually, before I go ahead and even take a look at this, I can compare this to the parent. And here you'll see that DB Optimizer will give you the original query on the left versus the actual query on the right. Now let's go to the Analysis tab. And here you will see that we have the SQL statement that's being onto your left. And then we have our visual SQL tuning diagram. So here you can actually go and take a look at all the different aspects of it. Plus, you can do a full refresh here. And let me just maximize this so that you can have a better view. And here you can see that I'll remove the explain plan here so that you can see the index analysis that we perform. So here you can take a look at the actual set of tables that was there. Plus it also gives you an outer join that was part of it. And here you can see in the query, we do have a left outer join here. So DB Optimizer is very smart in that way of bringing you all that information. Now, here you will see, let's turn our attention to the index analysis. Now here you will see that DB Optimizer is suggesting creation of this index as it's being doing a full table scan, but it has a filter. Hence, we suggest implementing this index. One of the ways of implementing this index is by choosing the index type. So we support all of these types of indexes. The other option is the ability to go ahead and say create index. And obviously, as a DBA, you would obviously want to open this up in an editor and go ahead and execute it as needed. The other ones in green, it says that this is being used by the optimizer when you run the statement. And this says that this is defined on a column present in the predicate that could be used by the optimizer. And these are the ones that are grayed out, has no effect on those. If you look at the table level statistics, here you can see I have the ability to leverage this here. And from here, from the sales LT, I can actually go ahead and look at the schema and look at the partitioning ID and the object ID and what type of data it's trying to bring out. So from each of these tables, all of the metadata is being listed here. Next, we have column statistics and histogram. This is where we can actually go ahead and view this here and leverage this. So the plan guides help you to, if there's any plans, you can take a look at the plan guides here. But for right now, these are some of the cool features of DB Optimizer that you can leverage immediately within your production environment. And what's really cool about this is that you don't really have to look at options where you'll have to debug through a list of SQL statements that you would run traditionally in your profiling tool. But here, if you look at this, everything is visual, and that also helps you to navigate and also identify those bottlenecks easily. Now, let's show you how you can take a look at the profiling report. So let me go and open up this particular profiling session. And here you will see that we have the option to export a report. So I can actually go ahead and export the report, and I can see that I can bring in whatever options I need. And we support both HTML as well as PDF, as well as regular printing. And you can go ahead and export this here. I'm exporting it to the desktop. And once it is done, I can actually go ahead and look at this data source profiling report. And here you can see all the list of all the diagram, especially if I'm interested in a specific performance metric, I can enable that as well. Plus, here's where you can actually look at the top 4 SQL statements that's been done and how many executions, etc. So you have a lot of metadata information here that as a DBA or as a database developer, from an auditing perspective, this is really helpful when you're doing any kinds of audits or anything. You can check the performance, and from a compliance standpoint, this helps you there as well. And the same thing holds true for the tuning report. So here, for example, I'll go ahead and open up this tuning report here. And here you can see the same thing as well. but only difference is here, unlike the profiling report, you can see the actual statements and including which indexes were needed to be created on what columns. So all in all, it is a really rich tool that enables you to get the job done with ease and enables you to better identify bottlenecks within your database. Now, I'd mentioned as part of when I was talking about the audio here, we also have the SQL Load Tool, where you can actually set up a SQL statement and create a load. And you can also randomize the load here as well. Plus, you can set it up to how many ever executions. And here's the most important thing, how many parallel sessions you would like to implement here as well. So once that is done, you should be able to go ahead and do all of this stuff here. So, and again, here you can actually go and look at profile configurations. If you're running an Oracle database, you can actually go ahead and configure and save that data source to an Oracle table. And here you can save this as a .oar file. Now, what's really cool about this is that, let's say you've gone ahead and implemented a profiling session for the before the end of month report, right? So you go ahead and do that. Once that is done, you can have a disconnect from the database. And what you can do is you can just go ahead and open up the actual profiling session without having to have been connected to the database. So here, for example, I'm looking at one of these. And so that, again, gives you the flexibility of not putting any kind of load on the server. So now what I would like to do is to take time for answering any questions. So let me just go ahead and look at our Q&A panel so that I can take a look. Give me 1 second. Okay, so any questions, please, on the topic? And what we can also do is we can also offer a personalized demo. So for example, here, I'll go ahead and share my contact info. So here, I'll go ahead and type in my email address. And in the subject line, if you can just mention a demo request, or on our website, you can also go ahead and request a demo. So let me go ahead and open up our website. So at IDERA.com, if you want to go ahead and take a look at our resource center, it's a very powerful area where you can actually go ahead and benefit based on the various products that we have. So here, if you go to the resource center, so let's say you're searching for tuning, right? So let's say if you're interested in a white paper, for example, you can just choose on the category. And within that category, you can then go ahead and choose a product. So let's say a product you're interested in DB Optimizer. So you just pick DB Optimizer here, and it should go ahead and give you all of the best practices. And if you're interested in videos, it should go ahead and give you the list of getting started videos shortly. So here you can see we have all of this here. So again, you can do that. And then if you want to go into our DB Power Studio suite of products, that's where you will get our entire lifecycle set of products that will actually help you to administer, manage change, tune queries, and develop relational databases. So that's our flagship here. And what you can do is you can also go ahead and click on this request a demo here, and I'll put a link to the request a demo here. And let me go ahead and do that here. So I'm typing in here. So there you go. So you should be able to get that there. And again, apologize for the screen share, but hopefully, can I at least get a show of hands that now at least you were able to better understand after you've viewed the webinar, yeah, at least a much better understanding of how we can help you tune your databases. Excellent. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time, and again, as always, if you're having any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We would love to show you a little bit more on what we can offer in terms of our product lines, as well as help you and your organization succeed in utilizing IDERA's products. And with that, I wish you all a great rest of your day, and looking forward to seeing you on another webinar soon. Thank you.